Welcome to the Home Stagers and Designers on Fire podcast, where we help you attract more ideal clients, up-level your business, make more money, and still have a smokin' hot life. Hosted by best-selling author, coach, and speaker Marianne Cherico, this podcast focuses on business and mindset strategies that enable you to create a life and business by design. Now, let's get fired up.
Do you sometimes feel alone while growing your home staging business? Do you know what you should be doing, but somehow don't seem to gain any traction getting the results that you want? Have you thought about working with a coach, but are afraid that this will put you out of your comfort zone? Well, I'm here to tell you that the investment in coaching is the best thing that you can do for your business. When you work with a coach who has your back, helps you break glass ceilings and achieve your goals, gives you business and mindset strategies that are instrumental to achieving success, it's a game changer. Now, how do I know this? Well, I myself have worked with my own coaches, and it's been a game changer for me. And I see the results that my coaching clients get when we work together. When we work together, you'll have my eyes on your business. So if you're ready to invest in you and would like to know different ways that we might work together, let's talk. You can set up a complimentary discovery session where I will help you clarify your goals. Then we'll uncover the inner and outer challenges that might be stopping you from reaching your goals. Trust me, the inner mindset stories can be tricky, and it helps to have a trained coach help you deal with this. And finally, I will let you know how I can help you bridge that gap between where you are and where you want to go. I offer both group coaching and one on one coaching, as well as a 6-session masterclass on getting business from real estate agents. You can sign up for my discovery session in the link on my show notes or go to my website, www.coachingbymarianne.com. Today, we're digging into something that matters more than a fancy portfolio or perfect Instagram grid. We're going to be talking about the ability to let go of the attachment to the outcome so that you can take intentional action to move the needle forward in your business. Because some of the things that you need to do to win business is going to cause you to have to get out of your comfort zone. And it's much easier to stay safe and warm in your comfort zone than to face your fears. But here's the thing. If you know that certain actions are going to get better results, but those actions might make you uncomfortable, isn't that a small price to pay for creating a life and business that makes your heart sing? Just like you have to get uncomfortable by going to the gym and working your cardio and muscles in order to feel fit, you have to be willing to get uncomfortable in your business in order to grow it. And there's so many different ways that you're going to be tested when you're growing. But isn't it worth it? I mean, as far as I know, this isn't a dress rehearsal. So let's make choices that impact the trajectory of our lives, right? Now, I'm going to take a deep dive into a mindset and energy shift that will help any of you who are wanting to grow your business. As a coach, many clients come to me for business strategy. And frankly, that's the easy part. There's so much information out there. It's easier than ever to Google or chat GPT things like a social media plan or standard operating procedures or how to create an employee handbook or any number of things. But what's not easy is understanding the mindset blocks that prevent us from implementing strategies that will help us move forward. And most often, the culprit is fear. Fear of being visible, fear of rejection, fear of looking foolish, fear of not being perfect, fear of being found out, imposter syndrome, and even fear of success. I see stagers spending a whole lot of time on marketing collateral, social media, and their website and portfolio, and all of that has its place. It absolutely does. But when they need to get money in the door, the quickest way to do it is to get in front of the people who will hire you and refer you over and over again. Mostly, for most of you, that's going to be real estate agents, right? It's that simple. Get in front of the people that are able to hire you, that can refer you over and over again and give them something of value. Give them something that they want. Let them know what's in it for them when they work with you. But this is the part that often stagers struggle with the most. And often they keep doing the busy work that isn't moving the needle because subconsciously they can tell themselves that they're working hard, but they're not working smart and they need to be working smart. I always say that when you're growing your business, you must grow as a person. And the beautiful part is you have the opportunity to grow into a person who's tenacious and unapologetic about her goals, who's loyal to her vision, a leader who's confident, resilient, resourceful, creative, and all the things that encompass a badass business owner. But this doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen because you will it to happen. It happens because you put yourself out there, you work on your mindset, and you take intentional action. And, let's face it, it's so easy to hide behind your computer instead of put yourself out there. That's safe. Whether you're an introvert or an extrovert or, someone in between, it's challenging to put yourself out there. Whether you're reaching out to a top agent or posting an Instagram reel or walking into a networking meeting, when you're attached to one specific result, fear and self judgment show up and stop you often. And this is something that I want to talk to you about. So, for instance, let's use networking events as an example. I encourage my coaching clients to attend networking events of real estate agents because, you want to fish where the fish are. And often they feel intimidated about what to say. They get caught up in what do I say? They don't want to feel or look stupid. I think that the whole elevator pitch thing has done us a disservice because it feels too phony and salesy. And I think that people don't feel comfortable doing that. It's not conversational, it feels contrived. So here's the thing, people work with people they know, like, and trust. So the bottom line is just be you. Ask them about themselves. And then at some point in the conversation, when it feels organic, ask them if they would like to hear about a couple of ways that you can help your preferred agent partners win listings. This takes practice, guys, because we all have stories in our head about how somebody might respond. Don't make how they respond mean anything about you. This is a business transaction. Just be Teflon. When you don't let how they respond get into your head and you have that detachment to the outcome response, energetically, you're going to be okay however they respond. It will keep you looser so that you can ask questions and get curious. And that might lead to uncovering other ways that you can help them that you may not have known about. And you won't feel or seem needy or insecure, which is a bad vibe to put out. So, for example, let's say that they say, I'm already working with a stager. Okay, you could just just clam up and say, oh, geez, I don't want to say anything more than they already have a stager, so they're not going to want to work with me. But if you're letting go of the attachment to the outcome, you could get curious and you could say something like, does your stager do occupied staging as well as vacant? Get curious, ask questions. This might open up an opportunity for you. And I have seen this happen with my clients because they are talking to somebody who maybe only works with a vacant stager, but they don't do occupied. And this would be an opportunity. So this is where you could talk about how your services might be an asset to them, how occupied staging is a different business model, and explain how it can save them money if you're working with the client's things, etc., or how you can do an affordable and highly effective staging consultation that makes the agent look really good if they offer it as part of their marketing plan. And it's a great value add that tips the scale that often helps them get the listing. When you let go of the need for a specific outcome, a specific result, fear loses its power. I'm going to say that again. When you let go of the need for a specific result, fear loses its power. And you start to show up more fully, more present. You not only take consistent action toward your goals, you become more magnetic to those that you want to work with. Think about this analogy. You're in the dating world, okay? I am in the dating world right now, sort of, kind of. I mean, I'm on dating sites, and that's a whole other kind of funny story. I got a lot of funny stories. But think about this. You're in the dating world, and there are two guys that are interested in you. One seems kind of insecure and is kind of wishy-washy and seems kind of needy. And the other one is confident and expresses interest, but doesn't act like he's desperate. He's confident, but he listens, he's curious. He doesn't act desperate. He magnetizes you to him. Which one do you think you might be attracted to you? I mean, I know which one I'd like. Let's talk about energy and how that affects results. Your energy is how you show up emotionally to any situation. It's your vibe. It's the internal narrative that fuels your actions. When you're outcome attached, your nervous system reads each outreach as a threat. So you're calling a real estate agent, and your nervous system reads that as a threat. Fear or shame if there's no reply, or whatever stories you're telling yourself if that agent doesn't respond in a way that you want. So let's say, for instance, you reach out to 10 real estate agents and they're less than excited about what you're offering. Instead of making this mean something about you and your value and giving up, why not get curious and ask yourself, how might I convey how I can help them more effectively in a way they may not have thought of? How can I come from a place of service? Or ask yourself this: how many agents will I challenge myself to reach out to in order to get one agent that will meet with me for coffee? Because it's a numbers game. And if you stay top of mind, they will think of you when they're looking for a stager. So ask yourself the question: how many agents? I'm going to do a little experiment with myself. I'm going to see how many agents it takes for me to land one for a coffee date. And if it's 1 out of 20, then I know that 2 out of 40 is my, kind of my statistics. So that's what I'm going to challenge myself to do. The mindset shift then goes to action focused instead of outcome focused. I want you to get that. The mindset shift goes from action focused instead of outcome focused. So the action you're taking is to reach out to 20, enough agents so that one sets up a coffee date, right? That's the action. You're 20, reach out to as many agents as you need to get that one agent. That's action focused instead of outcome focused. If you're outcome focused, every call you make is going to be, you're going to feel desperate to get that agent to convert into a client. And that's not the energy I want you to have. So you make the calls, you do whatever it takes, you take the action, and you don't put all your chips in one basket. If you have the mindset that you're planting seeds and some will grow into business, but others won't, or won't right now, perhaps, but may in the future, you'll keep planting seeds. And give yourself those hits of dopamine by focusing on all the wins, large and small. We tend to focus on the agents we didn't get. And when we focus on the ones that were responsive, that keeps us going and energetically motivated. I remember when I was an actress and I used to go out on a lot of auditions, and it could be very discouraging if you didn't get that audition. But every time I got the job, I got this hit of dopamine and it made me want to put myself out there more. So you have to focus on the wins. Here's the thing: when you keep putting yourself out there, business will come to you in ways that you may not have expected. I often get calls from agents I never met who were referred to me from agents that never used me, but they had heard of me, and or maybe they saw me do a presentation. If you put less focus on that one agent's response and more focus on what you can do, what actions you can take, that's how you're going to grow. Again, if you call 20 agents and get a yes, that's better than calling one agent and getting a no and then giving up, right? Focus on the wins, that one agent. Now, in the spirit of letting go, I want to give you some things to think about. You could journal on this. This would be a great exercise. Here's some things, and some of these things might hit some of you more than others, but put stars beside them if they resonate with you. Let go of what other people think of you. This is so important, especially when you're starting your business. Sometimes it's a spouse. Sometimes a spouse is the one that's holding you back. And that's when you have to have a really solid vision of what you want to create, and you have to feel confident, and you have to get the cheerleaders wherever they are that are going to tell you that you can do this. You need to really depend on the people that are going to back you up on this and put less weight, even if it's somebody that you care about. You can ask them to support you, but you can't control what other people do. All you can do is control what you do. And this is where you're going to have to really have resolve in building what you want. Let go of putting others' needs first all the time. Women especially are so much the givers. And when you're building a business, it's okay to be divinely selfish. Even in your personal life, it's okay to be divinely selfish. You need to sometimes give yourself the oxygen first. And when you're in business and you find out the hard way often, you want to absolutely over deliver and wow people, but not in a way that compromises your boundaries, and not in a way that compromises you getting paid what you're worth. Here's another thing to let go of. This is also epidemic of creative people. Let go of the desire to be perfect and to do everything perfect. Sometimes you got to take imperfect action. Sometimes trying to be perfect is the biggest tool to procrastinate what you know you need to do. Let go of trying to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. It's okay. You're human. Let go of worrying what your clients will think about your pricing. What they think about your pricing is not your business. Price on value and profitability versus fear of rejection, and be willing to stand behind your prices and the value that you bring, and let go of clients that aren't willing to pay you what you need to make to be profitable. Let go of twisting yourself into a pretzel to get the job. Let go of overthinking every decision. When you're the CEO of your business, which I want you all to be, even if you're a party of one, you need to be able to make decisions. And it's so easy to get caught up in the weeds, and that's a form of procrastination as well. Make a decision, go for it. You can always pivot. Let go of short term thinking and hold that big vision of the life and business that you're creating. So, short term thinking means you get upset because one real estate agent was rude to you. Long-term thinking is, I'm going to get 10 real estate agents who are my ideal clients to consistently send me business, and I'm going to do whatever it takes, and then write out a plan to do that. That's long-term thinking. You're not letting one little setback pull you down. Let go of stress and burnout. Manage your time and your people so that you protect your free time, your hobbies, time with your family, and set your boundaries. If you can't take that job, or they have to wait 2 weeks for the job, then that's your boundary. Know what your red line is. Let go of doing everything yourself. Get the help that you need, and let go of worrying about your competition, because you can look to your competition to see what they're pricing, but that's not what you're going to determine your price by. You can look at their social, but your social is going to be different. Make it your own. So, the benefits of letting go to the attachment to the outcome are so numerous. When you let go of the attachment to the outcome of anything, it frees you up to take more action. It creates space for better boundaries. It actually boosts your confidence in your professional presence because clients will sense your calm, grounded energy when you're not desperate for their approval. You show up as the trusted expert, not as someone who's hustling for scraps. It opens the door to better clients, your ideal clients who respect your process and your value because you're no longer chasing or clinging. You stop working with clients who nickel and dime you and stress you out. It shifts you into long term thinking versus short term thinking. You stop obsessing over this one staging job and focus on building a thriving business. Each action becomes part of a bigger strategy rather than a high stake gamble. It also reduces stress and burnout because you're no longer riding an emotional roller coaster of I got the job. Oh, I didn't get the job. Oh, what do I need to do to get that job? I need that job so bad. I don't want you to come from that place of lack. You preserve your energy for creativity, growth, and joy in your business. It encourages experimentation and innovation when you let go of the attachment to the outcome without fear of failure. You try new marketing strategies or service offerings or design ideas. And this flexibility helps you evolve with the industry and stand out. It also improves your client relationships because you don't come across as pushy or needy or desperate to get the job, which makes clients more comfortable about working with you. And you could focus on serving rather than always proving yourself. It supports your mindset and self worth, and you detach your personal value from whether you land a particular client or a job. This strengthens resilience and keeps you motivated through all the ups and downs. As always say, as you grow your business, you want to grow as a person. So here's the thing, when you stop gripping so tightly to the outcome, you create space for bigger opportunities, better clients, and more aligned success to flow into your business. Letting go does not mean that you stop caring. It means you trust yourself enough to show up fully, take bold action, and let the right results follow. Because at the end of the day, it's not about controlling every single outcome. You can't. You can only control what you do. It's about building a business and a life that feels powerful, purposeful, and free. And that, my friend, is when your staging business will really catch on fire. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast. For those of you who have gotten value out of my podcasts, it would mean the world to me if you went to Apple or Spotify and gave my podcast a 5-star review. It would mean so much. I put my heart and soul into this podcast. It takes a lot of time, and that would be an incredible way to acknowledge that. And I promise you, I read each and every one of them. Until the next show, wishing you all the best.
This episode of the Home Stagers and Designers on Fire podcast has ended. Be sure to subscribe for more strategies on how to attract your ideal clients, up-level your business, make more money, and still have a smokin' hot life. And don't forget to review this show so that we can continue to bring you top-notch content. See you on the next episode.